Welcome back to Up Front. Wisconsin Democrats called the Republicans' lame duck session moves a power grab and said it was embarrassing to the state. But what can the minority do about it? We're asking Democratic State Senator John Erpenbach, who's at our Madison affiliate, WKOW-TV. Senator, good to have you back on the program. Earlier in the week, you were one of those calling it a power grab. You've had a couple of days to think about this. How would you describe it as of today?
A really big power grab is how I would describe it. And I know that the Republicans leadership, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they went to work on this, a couple of days after the election. I think working with a couple of folks in the governor's office, so it's not like Governor Walker didn't know this was coming. But more importantly, it gets to the idea, Mike, that we had an election. It was fair. It was legal. Tony Evers won, and then a couple of days later, legislation is developed, introduced, and passed within a couple of days. And if you talk to voters around the state, whether they supported Governor-elect Evers or incoming Attorney General Josh Kaul or not, they don't like what's going on, and they don't like what they see coming out of Madison this past week.
So what happens going forward? How does what happened last week affect the relationship and the ability to get things done in Madison going forward?
Well, that's a really good question, because we're looking at least 4 years of Tony Evers, and the idea of 4 years of growth, the idea of 4 years of opportunity for everybody in Wisconsin, no matter what part of the state you happen to live in, I think is in jeopardy, simply because the Republicans set the tone right away that they, Scott Fitzgerald said he doesn't know Tony Evers, doesn't trust Tony Evers. But the frustrating part is we have a job to do, whether we're Democrats or Republicans. Doesn't matter who the governor is or the Attorney General. We're all supposed to work together and try and get something done for the state that moves us forward. So when you pass that kind of legislation, it's almost like the Republicans are saying, we don't care about the next 4 years. We're just going to try and grind things to a halt and sort of run out the clock and see what happens. And that's extremely irresponsible.
So is common ground something that can still be found, or now have we sort of already moved into such partisan camps that tackling some of the state's bigger issues, transportation, for instance, might not be able to happen?
Well, No, I think you can find common ground. Tony campaigned on the whole idea of working with Democrats and Republicans side by side, working with the best ideas no matter where they come from to try and move Wisconsin forward. And Tony Evers will continue to do that. It's going to be up to the leadership in the Republican Assembly and the Republican Senate to respond to his ideas, to sitting down, trying to get everybody together and work on our common problems. You mentioned transportation. That is a substantial problem. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. We have to fix long-term our transportation budget. K-12 funding is another issue that we all have to work on together, and so on and so forth. So again, Tony's always going to have an open door. He will call the legislators on the other side of the aisle, try to get them to sit down and work on these things together. That's not going to change.
Senator, I want to have you respond to some of what Republicans have said. They've been on the receiving end, obviously, of most of the criticism here, but they've also made the argument that Democrats are not pure on this issue of lame duck sessions. And back in 2010, Democrats tried to approve some labor agreements that probably would have been significantly different. I should say they were unsuccessful, but they would have been different than what Governor Walker would have wanted. So that the Democrats who say that, Republicans are doing something that just hasn't been done before are being hypocritical. What's your response to that?
We have had lame duck sessions before in the past, and they've been very limited in scope. You're right about 2010 and the public employee contract. Some of those had been negotiated for over a year and had been settled and just needed an okay by the Senate. And there's been a lame duck session before to approve public employee contracts. But this lame duck session was supposed to be all about Kimberly Clark and trying to get tax credits to Kimberly Clark to hang on to jobs up in the Fox Valley. And Mike, that bill never came up. Instead, what Robin Vos and Scott Fitzgerald did is they expanded the call, the extraordinary session, and loaded it up with all sorts of other stuff to take authority away from Governor Evers and take authority away from Attorney General Josh Kaul. So in the end, why we were there never happened to begin with, and it never even came up for a vote. So you can't compare the two.
And something else that you hear from some Republicans, they're saying that the Senate didn't pass a bill that would provide at least some guarantee of coverage for pre-existing conditions. That's especially important because the state's involved in this lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of Obamacare. Not a single Democrat voted for this, at least some coverage of pre-existing conditions. Why was that?
Well, the piece of legislation was pretty much full of empty promises, because here's the deal, Mike. You can say you're covering pre-existing conditions, but if you don't get rid of lifetime or annual caps on pre-existing conditions. People with pre-existing conditions, if they're severe, will end up going bankrupt because they'll bump up against those caps through their treatment in a very short period of time, and then everything else moving forward for their treatment will be cash out of their pocket. That, in addition to the fact that the Republicans refused to withdraw from that lawsuit down in Texas, which is going after the Affordable Care Act. So it was really disingenuous for them to bring that bill forward and give people some false hope.
Senator John Erpenbach on the satellite from our affiliate in Madison, WKOW-TV. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much for being with us today.
All right. Thanks, Mike. All
the lame duck bills are now in Governor Walker's hands. He has to sign or veto the measures within 10 days of receiving them. Our editorial partner, WisPolitics.com, is tracking the developments on the Quorum Call blog at WisPolitics.com. Next, the likelihood of a court challenge to one of those bills restricting early voting.